Hey, everybody. Yeah, let's go.
Dates?
Yeah, let's do some dates.
Let's
this
do
is
them
Neal.
dates.
It's basically today is September 11th. I'm going to be in San Francisco tomorrow, September 12th, 13, 14. September 12th, 13, 14 in San Francisco at the Punchline. And then next month I'm going to be in D.C. on some... Just Google Neal Brennan Living Social. Because that's all I can say. If you live in D.C., don't just Google it for shit.
The Living Social headquarters is in Washington, D.C., and you're going to be playing at it.
No, it's some sort of deal at a club,
I'm
but
telling
you can only
that's
get
what
tickets.
It is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the Living Social House. That's where you're going to be.
Oh, great. Sounds awesome.
It should be fun.
Well, I'm going to be there October 10th, 11th, and 12th, so I hope to God you're right, Moshe.
So it's me, Moshe. You might be able to tell my voice apart from Neal's at this point. I got some dates coming up this very weekend. I will be in Chicago at the Up Comedy Club. And then the weekend after that, I'm going to be, that's the 19th through 21st or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm going to be, let's say yes on that. I will be at the Triple Door in Seattle on Saturday night and at Lola's in Portland the night before, Friday night. So come fuck with me there. The weekend after that, Rooster Teeth Feathers, Comedy Club, Sunnyvale, California.
You're road dogging it, man.
I'm trying to make that money, man. I got to pay my rent. So come fuck with me.
$1,500 plus bonuses.
Yeah, it's on another level, man, right now. Those bonuses are really piling on.
Our guest today,
so
Aries Spears.
I heard you curse, so we can do
Oh,
that.
yeah,
do it.
Oh,
Start
beautiful.
off with a big
Beautiful. I don't want to force it. I want it to be natural.
Do you you got dates you want to promote?
You know, I'm going to do a one-nighter in Kansas City at the Improv this Friday, and then I'll be in Tommy T's in Pleasanton Saturday and Sunday.
Of this week?
This week, yeah.
Of the 10th, 11th, 12th?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
go on
yeah,
down.
Yeah, all right.
Find
So-
Aries Spears at
You
Tommy
may have to make a
T's.
tough decision between seeing me in San Francisco or Aries.
I think what might
You
tip
said
it,
you're doing Cobb's?
I'm doing Punchline.
Oh, Punchline.
what
Have you
might
done
tip it
Cobb's?
is that
No,
that
I'm not big enough
Pleasanton.
for Cobb's.
Cobb's?
Yeah.
That's,
Do you like
that's,
Cobb's?
that's
Wanted
a
us
big
to-
room, man.
They wanted us to do
Big
the
room.
podcast. They want to do a live
is that
one.
right?
Yeah.
All right, listen, let's start the
what are we
podcast.
doing?
Wait,
Guys,
quickly, I want to say I do have my album out, Moshe Kasher Live in Oakland. You can get that on Amazon. You can also get a Champs t-shirt, Blue Collar Distro
All that.
/ the Champs. All that. Fuck with us. Let's start the episode.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Yeah.
Well, hello, everyone. We're back again. It's the Champs podcast. Hi.
Yeah, that's Moshe starting
me.
off, which I don't appreciate.
Sorry, Neal. I apologize.
We are here, everybody. The Champs has been the name of the podcast is The Champs. We've had like some kind of weird. We've been getting crazy amounts of downloads, but like old episodes get just like shit, just constant. It's great.
It is
So
good.
thank you for the support, everybody.
Dude, I was in Nevada City this very weekend at the Nevada City Film Festival that DJ Douggpound curates. Mm-hmm. I had many Champs fans coming up to both of us trying to figure out what the real story behind Doug's departure
We had
from
another
this
guy
podcast.
all right, so our guest today, you may know him from various films.
Mad
and
TV.
mostly Mad TV, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's predominantly,
They
yeah.
have to know. They have to. Well, then Jerry Maguire was a big part.
Yeah, that was my. That was back in the late '90s. I haven't done a relevant film since then, so that for me, that's my what you talking about, Willis. It's my different. If I hear
Jerry
somebody
Maguire
say,
become
"Show me the
different
fucking
strokes"?
money,"
Did you say "Show me the money"?
no, I didn't. But that
But
everybody.
that
that's
you aren't you in the scene?
I'm in the scene with Cuba dancing and Tom on the phone. So anybody that's associated with that movie, that catchphrase gets thrown your way.
Yeah.
I just got to
Yeah.
say off the top, you got such a great voice. Just you got voice, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
But I feel like your voice has gotten grislier. As
Yeah,
you've
I
gotten
drink
older.
and smoke a lot.
Oh, good.
I got that Pacino thing going on. It
Oh, so this is a cultivated
back
voice.
when I was in, 18, 19, I was Pacino Godfather, but now I'm Pacino. Hooah. Yeah.
That's hilarious. We're
Yeah.
Dog Day Afternoon. All right, so I remember you from back then when you were
Right.
18, 19, working
Yeah.
at the Boston Comedy Club. I was
Yeah.
a
Just
doorman.
Just a soft-faced young man.
Yeah.
You just kind of blew through New York. I remember for like it felt like 2-3 months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from New York, and I
Right.
started out, my very first time on stage was at Uptown Comedy
Yeah.
Club. But long story short, man, yeah, I did all the chitlin circuit gigs between New York and New Jersey, and came up with Bill Bellamy and a couple of other notables. And New York, I kind of did that till I was 17 and came out to LA. So
when did you start?
I started when I was 14.
No.
Yeah, I did Def Jam at 16 and Showtime at the Apollo at 17. Barry Katz actually, of course, he was managing Chappelle at the time, and I was between trying to figure out who my manager would be. So my choices were Russell Simmons, Barry Katz, the girl's mother, the girl that played on Give Me a Break. I can't remember her name.
Her mom's sounds like a pretty powerful
manager,
though. Yeah, in Pittsburgh. My God,
a Pittsburgh manager.
Exactly, and and Norm Nixon, and I ended up signing with Norm Nixon.
Yeah, I remember that,
and moved out to L.A.
Do you think your career would be in a different place if you had gone with Russell Simmons?
It would have been in a place that dictated the time.
Yeah, right.
Because Def Jam was hot, so I would have been one of many black comedians in that stable. So I don't know that for the long term that would have been beneficiary, because at the end of the day, Def Jam got that bad rap.
Yeah, it got a great rap for like 18 months.
I really wanted to go between Barry and I really was Barry.
Barry was like salty about it. Like he got you headshots or something.
Yeah. It was going to be Barry, but Norm flew me out. And, anybody that's never been
Norm Nixon, who at that point had been on the Lakers fairly recently. He was on the Lakers, the Showtime Lakers in the 80s.
Yeah,
and his wife was fucking Debbie Allen.
He was a basketball player.
Yeah, he won a couple
championships. His wife was Debbie Allen, so they had it on
That's
lock.
A power couple.
And at that time, they managed Carlos Mencia, who I guess was the biggest name on their roster.
Right.
But to anybody that's never been to L.A. as a 17-year-old kid, you come to Los Angeles, and it's like being introduced to crack.
Yeah.
So I got overwhelmed by L.A. and the stars, and so I signed with
it's
Norm.
overwhelming if you're 30.
Right.
If anyone flies you somewhere, then like you just feel like you're on Golden Pond.
On Golden, you a retired
Golden
person?
Pond.
But I almost feel like I almost feel like it's coming full circle, because I've always respected Barry, and I've always liked Barry, and the guy might end up managing me, man.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, we can make it even more full circle. Do you know that Barry Katz now has a podcast about managing people?
Yes, he does.
It's called Nobody's Listening. Folks.
Bang.
Folks.
Now, all right, so you moved out here.
Yeah.
And then didn't you book a show super
You know
quick?
what? It was crazy because at the time, Debbie Allen was producing and directing A Different World. So I ended up doing some guest stand-up. D.L. Hewley was a warm-up for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but he knew me from Def Jam. So he basically let me do 5 minutes in front of Will Smith and, at that time, Warren Littlefield, NBC. So there was this buzz around town that this hot new kid, blah, 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 blah. So for 5 years, I got stuck in development deals.
Right.
NBC, CBS, ABC. So I probably made like $1 million before I was 21 in holding deals. And long story short, I finally ended up with Fox, and it was like I was tired of making money but hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
So Mad TV was, I think, coming in its 3rd season, and the president of Fox just said, "Put them on, man."
Yeah.
And they put me on.
If we go back before...
But you did have a show.
Yeah, South to Sunset.
He had a
on
show.
CBS.
Do you know this story?
Yeah.
Tell the story.
Yeah. While I was going around from network to network, I actually auditioned for a CBS show called South to Sunset. And they liked me, and they
wanted
wanted
a cop show.
Cop show.
With
Glenn Fry from the
Fry.
Eagles. And they didn't like Glenn's acting wasn't really up to par.
Right.
But somewhere between shooting the end of the first season, he got an acting coach. He got better, but wasn't great. So he basically got pissed off because he was like, "Look, you guys can't air the first couple of episodes because I sucked. Let's reshoot them." Blah blah blah. He pissed off the network, and the fact that we had to air against Home Improvement, the number one show in the country, and Melrose Place, hot show. And there were the fires in Los Angeles, so we never aired in California. So long story short, I mean, the ratings were terrible, and we got canceled after the first.
I heard, I heard it got canceled while it was airing.
Right.
Whoa.
The story is it aired at 10. It was canceled by 10:40.
Yeah.
Like I'm showbiz. Like that's and you're confirming it somewhat.
That's
somewhat,
That's
yeah.
like the story about Kevin Hart at the Upfronts. Have you heard? Have we talked about that before?
Well, however that story ends, we know where Kevin is.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Apparently, Kevin Hart, he was in some show, and he was at the Upfronts, and he's literally backstage. They're like, okay, you're going on in 5 minutes. Okay, Kevin, are you ready? You're going up, and then like literally, he's like about to walk out, and somebody taps him on the shoulder. The show got canceled, and he just he made it all the way.
I'm so scratching my head behind the success of Kevin Hart because it's like the first Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam, which I did, me, Kevin, D-Ray, Tommy, and Cedric, which Shaq's done about 6 of these things.
Yeah.
And this is not me.
But the first one was good. The first,
Well,
I've only seen one. Like
this
that
is
was
not
the one
me stroking my own shit, but everybody that's ever come up to me has said, hands down, the best one ever.
Yeah.
And
I would agree. You fucking destroyed on that.
Thank you, man. And D-Ray and I would do shows backstage, and we'd be like, what the fuck did we do wrong?
Right.
Like
yeah.
Kevin is like even today I looked 8.8 million followers on Twitter.
Right.
I'm going, what the fuck did I do wrong?
He could clip a fingernail, take a picture of it, put it on Instagram, and get 150,000 likes. People are that fucking geeked off the dude.
But in some
here's
way-
what it is to me: charming, funny,
Well, non-threatening.
and and also like comes up with a lot of material, and he's extremely likable, lovable.
Now, how? Let me ask you, because there's already a stigma about me,
Right.
And I don't want to come off like a hater, but I want to be honest.
Yeah.
So you tell me, like Kevin comes out with a new special almost every other month.
Yeah.
And I would gather that it's so fucking hard to write a banging new hour of material that quickly.
Well, we always talk about that.
I know Kevin has writers. He has writers. So here's my question: isn't that almost like taking steroids? Like, is there not an asterisk above? Like if and Dana Cook and I talked about this.
That's a
like
very
I understand.
good point.
There's no arguing. Kevin is a legitimate, funny fucking dude.
Yeah.
But if you got a stable of writers,
Yeah.
But
is it all you? Do we give you all the
I
credit?
Well, that's
Here's
an
the
interesting
thing with
thing.
Kevin,
That's an
yeah.
interesting thing, which is every famous comedian until this generation basically would have an asterisk above them. Eddie Murphy would, Richard Pryor would, all of these.
For what? For having writers?
Yeah, because this generation, like,
I don't believe Eddie had writers.
You don't believe that?
did.
No.
He had
He
Paul,
did?
Paul Mooney.
On the credits of
It
of
says
Raw,
Paul Mooney.
Robert Townsend, and
No.
Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Robert, but they wrote the sketch at the beginning.
not the material.
No.
No,
I never knew that.
that's Paul Mooney wrote for Eddie. That's I don't think up for debate unless I'm completely.
I don't think you're right.
I know he wrote for Richard.
He definitely wrote for Richard, and if you watch the documentary about Richard, it's you see Mooney walk up. Pryor bombed the first taping of Live on the Sunset Strip so bad that they couldn't use it, and they have footage of Mooney walking on. I know, it's crazy. Watch the Showtime documentary. Mooney walks on stage and like basically carries him off.
Like,
it's fucking
okay.
hilarious. Me, we were talking about it the other day. It was fucking hilarious.
But I mean, yeah, I think that our generation, like, the last 15, 20 years is where people started going, you must write all your own material. And like all the old guys.
Yeah,
there
was the
aesthetic.
vaudeville thing, and then once Carlin and Newhart and those guys started writing there, and like
they would
Mort
go like,
Saul
"Are you going to do the
and
duck
Nichols
bit
and May
tonight? Or can I do the duck bit tonight?"
But those were like they were like the alternative comics. The people that became famous were like the alt comics, as opposed to like Shecky, all these Catskill guys that would be like, "You going to do the duck bit?"
Well, I have a question. You started very, very young.
Yeah.
How did you grow up? Like, if you're a millionaire by 21, did you grow up poor? Did you grow up ready?
You know what? I didn't grow up dirt poor, but I was so far from Huxtables.
Yeah.
I was the good times, but not that bad.
Right.
You know, I grew up in a one-studio apartment in New York with me, my mother, and my sister. My father was in and out. And, I grew up in the 80s, man. So for me, Eddie was the guy.
Right.
So every Saturday, without fail, me and my father consistently watched this dude. And that when I saw Delirious and what the one with Trading Places, that for me was it.
Did you do voices when you were young?
Yeah,
Before
always
comedy?
as a kid, sat in front of TV and mimicked what I saw. Yeah.
Why do you think you did that?
I have a theory. A friend of mine who does a lot of impressions says, he said and he stopped, and he said the reason I stopped doing impressions is because he felt like he was doing it because he hated himself.
Really?
And, yeah, he said, because I hate myself, and I long to be these other people.
That wasn't it for me. I just had a deep love for television, and I could mimic so much. My mother's a jazz
Eddie's
singer.
like that.
Yeah, my mother's a jazz singer. She sang with Lionel Hampton, the great legendary guy before he died. She sang it for President Reagan at the White House. So I've always had that. I think sometimes when I tell people doing impressions is like music. You know, you have to have an ear for tone and inflection.
I agree
like
with
Jay-Z, you know, Shapoy Kyung, that's a note. Right. You know what I'm saying? So my mother, because she could sing, and I think I inherited some of that, I can hear people's tones and capture their inflections. Like one of my favorite impressions to do is Paul Mooney. You know what I'm saying? Only because that attitude and that voice. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even do it well, and I like doing it.
You know, that people often do.
Yeah. For those of our listeners that aren't familiar with your work, Aries is one of the best. I would say one of the best.
You're the best.
Thank you.
But that's
you're
real.
because you're the only one that's not like a hack about it.
Here's my thing. Like, and I love Frank Caliendo.
Yeah,
that's my dude. He's put me on.
Yeah,
he put me on the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, go ahead and
but
shit
my
on
thing
him.
about Frank is like, I've never seen Frank do a show that didn't go in the direction of an impression. His whole hour is impressions, and that's great. But to me, what made Eddie Murphy so Michael Jordan-like, there was so many facets to his game.
Right.
He could do impressions, but he could also do material. And I would have loved to have seen Frank do material and not just rely on impressions. So for me, it's almost like doing an impression is
why don't you? Are you friendly enough to tell him that?
We're cool, but I don't know that the
Hopefully
comfort
he'll
level
hear
Or
you
you just did. It's all good.
But I love Frank, though.
No, yeah.
But to me, doing an impression is like dunking. I can dunk when I want.
Yeah.
But material is the rebound and the defense and the bounce and the passing. So.
And do you? Yeah, you're the best, and certainly, and there's also not a ton of black impressionists.
No,
it feels like there's more. There's a lot more white impressionists, which I don't.
Isn't.
Why do you think that is? Do you have any theories on that?
Not really.
Because I don't.
I
don't have.
You don't have a theory on this,
which is odd.
This is you don't.
I think black or white impressions are just so hard to do. And I mean, it's Jay Farrow.
Yeah.
Affion Crockett.
Yep.
I forget the other guy's name. There's a couple guys that do it.
Who does it better, Jay-Z, you or Jay Farrow?
Oh, hands down, I'm Jay-Z. Come on.
Are you?
And here's why I say that. This is not me being vain. Here's why I say that. Because it's one thing to sound like Jay-Z, but the rap bit that I did where I had like 14 million views on YouTube, to be able to sound like somebody is one thing. To capture their rap cadence, their flow, their style, and to actually be able to spit where you could go, yo, they would say that. And not something that I'm mimicking. I wrote it myself.
Right.
When I rhyme and do Jay-Z, DMX, LL, Snoop, all the rhymes, I wrote the rhymes. So to me, that's a different level.
And are there impressions where you're like, yeah, he does it way better than
Oh, yeah. Jay Farrow's Will Smith.
Yeah.
His Chris Rock. His Chris Tucker. I can't do Barack Obama, and it pains me. First black president.
Oh, yeah, you drank and smoked too much for that shit.
You know what it is?
True.
I got Barack's cadence, but not the voice.
The cadence is relatively easy to do.
Yeah, but the voice, it's almost like when I first started doing Denzel. I had his cadence, but I didn't have the voice. And it wasn't until I saw a comedian out of Chicago named Reggie Reg. His brother had Denzel. You close your eyes, Denzel was in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, he did Denzel like, I forget the comedian's name, who does Sam Kinison and Pacino.
Craig Gass.
Craig Gass.
Yeah.
I mean, he does Denzel like that. Yeah. So after watching and picking up on the things that I was missing, like for instance with Denzel.
Okay, well that's okay. So what do you, if a guy is doing an impression,
right,
and you want to do the impression, is that thievery?
Not at all.
Okay,
because you can't put a copyright on
it. I understand that. I guess it's
not at all.
It's not, because the whole thing about impressions,
unless you do the same joke,
but
but impressions are fair game.
Impressions is all about how to find a way into the impression, right? Find a funny way, or for some people, not find a funny way into doing the impression. And that's what's annoying, and that's what I feel like you don't do is the impressionist is just clearly could care less about anything but getting to.
I'll put it to you like this: one of the things that made Eddie, when you look at Delirious, so amazing, was it wasn't just the impression. The joke behind it.
Right.
The substance was there. With Jay Farrow, I feel like his impressions are just, now here's my where Eddie Murphy would take that impression and put it in a funny situation
right.
that made
100%.
sense to the impression. That to me is
also picking interest. The fact that Eddie Murphy did Larry Holmes,
right,
who was like a super, not even he was a boxer, but everyone was doing Mike Tyson.
I'm Larry Holmes,
and then Eddie did Larry Holmes, and it's just like what? And it's a fucking perfect Larry
James
Holmes.
Adomian does that. He picks these very odd and specific.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with him?
No.
He does like Jesse Ventura, and he does.
But Jay Moore is good at that, and doing impressions with great jokes.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal at that, man.
Yeah.
That's
interesting that you don't, because I know a guy who was on Saturday Night Live and asked somebody, "Can you teach me how to do an impression of so and so?" And the person he asked was like, "No, I'm not gonna." And the guy on Saturday Night Live still hates the guy who wouldn't tell him the impression.
Dude, the and I don't know if you saw it, but the thing that I was most proud of is when I did the Paul Mooney for my special Hollywood Look I'm Smiling. The whole premise was I was basically saying everyone knows Paul is a genius.
Right.
But the fact that Paul will tell you he's a genius is why he's where he's at. So it's like when I got him to come try to be a writer for Mad TV, and they're like, "Paul, we love you." "Homie, I invented comedy. It's real. I invented it. All you niggas, all of you stolen from me. First you stole niggas, then you stole my material."
This is his job interview?
Right, this is his job. But for me to come up with, first you stole niggas, then you stole my material, that's so Paul Mooney.
Yeah,
whether he said that or not,
right.
That's Paul Mooney.
No, he would say that.
Yeah, he would say that.
Yeah.
"I invented comedy, homie. I invented it."
He's like Little Richard.
Right.
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 Neal, do you have any impressions?
No, I mean I will
No.
do
Listen.
I will do Mooney sometimes, but it's more about.
Can we do?
I don't do I just do the spirit.
Listen, let's do our best impression, and you rate the impression. See who you think.
But
is
I don't
better.
have any.
Do your Mooney.
I'm already throwing in the
We're
towel.
both
You
terrible.
go first.
I got nothing. I got the movie phone
You're
guy.
setting up a fake. Oh, I can do the movie phone guy.
Okay,
well,
we'll both do
the
the movie phone guy. You
Right.
say which one's better, okay? All right. Who do you want to go first or second?
You
It's like
go
a rap
first.
battle. All right.
You go first.
Because I know I stink at that, I'm gonna give you top billing.
This is so exciting.
All right. Hello and welcome to hello and thank you for calling Movie Phone, brought to you by 106.1 KMEL Jams. That's
Right.
fun.
Okay.
That's good. I'm gonna do the same line.
Great.
Brought to you by KMEL Jams.
Brought to you by 106.1 KMEL Jams.
All right. I'll tell you where you fucked up.
Oh, thank you.
You got to hit the last.
Damn it.
The last syllable is the key to the movie phone guy. Aries, you'll see.
Right.
You'll see, Eric.
Hello, and thank you for calling Movie Phone. What do I say now?
You go. Brought to you by 106.1 KMEL Jams.
Brought to you by 106.1 KMEL Jams.
That was the last syllable was good, but I feel like
I didn't really get
If
it.
you know the name of the movie you'd like to
Press
see,
one.
press one now.
I'm gonna go.
No, I
I'm gonna go
agree.
with this.
I
I'm gonna
agree.
go with
I
this.
totally agree. That Moshe won that. I
right.
wasn't ready. I actually was straight up nervous just now. Like I was straight
Neal,
up like,
can I ask? Here's
ask
what I
me
want to
some
do. I
questions.
want to
Yeah.
ask you something.
yeah, go ahead.
And I want you to be 100%
Yeah.
honest with me.
Yeah.
What do you think of me as a comic?
I think you're funny.
Please be
man.
honest.
I am being
Right.
funny. I think you're. I'll tell you where I think you fucked up.
Okay.
All right,
I
I'll
can't
leave the
wait
room.
to hear this.
No. You got to be better looking. Like
Everybody says that.
Yeah, it's like fucking. You used to be fucking cute, man. You're just not that cute. Like that's the thing is like
Hilarious.
dudes will fuck with you, and
Right.
you could get girls.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you'd lost whatever 60 pounds,
Right.
I told Pete Holmes, I tell people you gotta lose weight if you want to get cast.
Right.
You have to be skinny.
Right.
You fucking have to be skinny. If you're not fat, if you're fat, you have to be cartoon fat.
Right.
You have to be Chris Farley, Caliendo, fucking, who else? There, you have. So that would be my thing. Which would be
Right,
like,
right.
you could be way. You're not maximizing your gift.
Okay. No, listen. I've heard that a gazillion times. Because here's the thing. Like, usually I don't do these kind of things, man.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it for pretty much one big reason.
The movie phone off?
No. And I'm not in the ass kissing business.
Yeah.
But I have such a huge amount of respect for you.
Oh, thank you.
One, because knowing that you co-created probably the most phenomenal sketch show ever.
Thank you.
And two, it was at one point where, and this might be me to some people who don't know me or listening, sounding cocky and vain.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I've looked at every sketch show from Jordan and Peele to Chocolate News that have come out since and before Chappelle's show.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there has been anyone to fill that void the way that it should be filled. Now, I honestly believe with my 8 years of sketch show on Mad TV, if you know my body of work, my year on the Underground with Damon Wayans on Showtime.
I never saw that show.
A lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
But I believe that if given the opportunity to be left the fuck alone, which I think networks kill great talent when they get involved. But when people leave people who are great the fuck alone and let them do what they do, that's when magic happens. And I honestly believe that I have the ability, given the chance to do sketch, that I can do what Dave did.
Yeah.
And take it beyond on a HBO or a Showtime.
Yeah.
And I so badly, when I approached you, I remember when I approached you and you were too busy at the time, and I really wanted to see if I could get in bed with you and work with you on that level. And you basically told me.
Everybody's trying to fuck.
You basically
you're so skinny, that's why.
Yeah, I'm so passable.
Like, it really fucked with me.
Did it really?
Yeah, it did.
That's what's funny.
Because I thought it was because maybe Neal didn't respect me. Maybe
No,
he didn't like me.
No, it's
but
because you're too fat.
Thank you.
No, but I'm not trying to.
Aries, the other thing is like the Chappelle show was me. It's like you can't underestimate
how skinny Dave Chappelle was. He was so skinny.
No, you can't underestimate like Dave's life force.
Right.
Like that can't be underestimated. It's like it's just a crazy life force where like people see him and fucking before he was famous, he's super charismatic and charming. Right. So like just him being on TV, the reason we sold so many DVDs is because you want to fucking eat his face. It's like he's just like this, and he can write, and he's got aesthetics, and he can. He was like Public Enemy. He was like Chuck D and Flavor Flav in one person.
Right.
That's what I always said. So it's like I can. It's not a matter of like I could easily take. It's like I have points of view, but. It's got if it's whoever's show it is, it kind of has to be their point of view.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Watching your stand up this past Friday. Listen, dude, you're incredibly fucking smart.
Oh, thanks.
And edgy at the same time. And it's like when you watch, you go, I get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've been financing and putting together my own pilot.
Great.
Because I kind of feel like to take it where Dave, to go beyond where Dave took it,
right?
Which I felt was a blown opportunity with the Underground, where it's like Damon Wayans on Showtime. You have
he was left alone, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was left alone, but it's like you have a chance to finish the jokes. You have a chance to take it where the clubs can take it, but on television now.
Yeah,
and it was almost like he was trying to apply typewriter rules to a computer age.
Yeah,
like he was still trying to do In Living Color type characters that I went, dude, that worked in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now social media age.
Yeah.
It's there's something missing.
Yeah.
So
No, I know.
I don't want to take away the sincerity from the moment, but I think it's important for us to say that was perhaps the most Neal Brennan response of all time to which is, what do you think of me as a comedian? I think you're fat. That is some straight up Neal Brennan classic.
That's
Neal
not
Brennan
what I said.
Shit.
What
do you think of me as a comedian? Fat. You're a little bit heavy.
Finally, I said you're a very good comedian, and then if he asked me what's holding me back, and I said your weight.
Right.
Will you lose weight?
I'm trying to, man.
What are you doing?
Trying not to make bad decisions.
What do you eat?
Everything that's wrong.
Right.
I say, listen, man, trust me, in my heart, I got Michael Jordan dreams, but Dennis Rodman habits.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my heart, I want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But
well, here's the sad thing: Michael Jordan ate McDonald's his entire rookie year because he didn't know. He didn't. You know that?
You didn't.
He didn't know not to eat McDonald's.
Right.
I said that to, if I name drop, Chris Rock, and he goes, when he hosted SNL, me, Farley, and Spade had to go buy him McDonald's because he couldn't leave the building. So he was eating McDonald's in as like Michael Jordan, the icon, and he was also sponsoring it. But the fact that he could eat garbage and still be that good.
To really answer your question better, I got to get to a place where I give a shit again.
Well, that's what I see with business, you. Yes, is I see you. I feel like you're like there's like a self-pity strain that I see in you, and maybe I'm wrong, but I see you feeling like no one's giving me the time of day, and then you drink and you eat.
I don't know so much that I would say self-pity as so much an angry and bitter place.
Just anger and bitter.
Where do you think it comes from? Is it just about career, or is there more?
Mostly that, because I always felt like, look, man. Honestly, I felt like if I'd have done what I did, if I'd have done on Saturday Night Live what I did on Mad TV for 8 years, it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
But I never got that shot at the NBA. I was probably one of the best players in the CBA.
Yeah.
That never got that shot, and it feels like there's certain points within my.
Did you never audition for SNL?
No.
That's one of those weird things. That's what you realize, like your life, not like your life's fucked up, but it's like you were on a popular show, but it's just not the right popular show.
Right.
And the entire trajectory of your life is different and not what you want it to be, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, that's
you know what I mean. Like just in life, you just go like, "Oh, I fucked up." It's like I direct a movie that doesn't do well. It's like, "Oh, I'm fucked up."
People that the fans and people on the street will come up to me and with passion and legitimate feelings go, "Man, you were the best, one of the best dudes on Mad TV, one of the best guys in sketch ever." But because it wasn't Saturday Night Live, I just never got that. Like, I remember I did a show in Portland, and one of the radio personalities gave me the best backhanded compliment I ever heard. She said, "I honestly feel if there wasn't Eddie Murphy, you'd be him."
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge compliment, right?
Yeah.
But
also shitty.
Right.
Yeah. Because you have to murder Eddie in order for that.
But what about like the idea that you are more than your career? I mean,
that's a good idea. Like, what are you? Who are you?
That always feels like shit to me.
No, I'm just saying.
You know what? It was funny. Tommy Davidson was doing, when we were shooting a photo shoot for the cover of the DVD for Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam. And for me, in terms of a Mount Rushmore of comedy, he's one of the guys.
Tommy's really funny.
Knowing what he does on stage, Tommy's a beast.
Yeah.
And I kind of said something to Tommy in that same vein, like, man, I feel like you've never gotten your due, man, and blah, blah, blah. And he hit me with that same kind of answer where he was like, well, I've already been that legend and this and that. So I don't need Hollywood to tell me who I know I already am. And listen, if that's what works for him, that's what works for him. To me, that always felt like a shit answer.
You mean?
Oh, I agree.
In terms of,
I'm just saying, like, what if what if in your first year of comedy, your voice box had exploded and your voice was irreparably changed, and then what? You'd just be unhappy for the rest of your life, or I mean, anyway, for me,
knowing what my goal is, if that's what happened, that's a pretty raw fucking deal.
It's not. You're right. It's a
pretty short, shitty deal.
But then what? Beyond, it's a shitty deal.
Like, I don't want to say who. And this is where I guess Dave is so weird, or as if people have described. Like, the guy lives in Ohio. Yeah. He doesn't seem to want the big. He's like Barry Sanders, like one of the greatest, but doesn't want it. Like, who gets in this game and doesn't want it? Who gets in this game and doesn't want to be the biggest?
It's not as simple as that, but I understand, because I don't pursue this. I like doing stand-up, but I don't pursue very much else. I'm not like, and I get, I don't, not like, because I'm like, man, I've been that. I would like, my thing is doing your own show is fucking hard as shit. And my thing is, like, if I'm going to do my own show and work 19 hours a day, I really have to care about what the show is. Right. So that, and Dave is, I think, in a similar place, if I may speak for him. Like, it's just like, it's really hard. And if you don't if you know that you're the best or one of the best, you're in the clubhouse. Everyone goes, "You're one of the best," and you go, "Yeah." So I can be one of the best and not do anything?
Right.
This is great.
It's also one of these questions like, would you rather make something great or be famous? Are you in it for your own being big?
I'm not talking about the material thing or the necessarily the fame status and the money. I'm just talking about people respecting your work and being looked at as one of the top guys in it. Because I know all that fame and money shit will come with it, and I'm not looking at that as validation, but just knowing that work-wise, this dude is one of the best. Yeah. Now, again, I'm saying this very loosely, but when people talk about one of the greatest comedians of all time, Eddie Murphy, and again, I look at him as like the Michael Jordan. Yeah. So many facets to his game.
He's got the crown.
The best. Like Chris Rock, in my opinion, stand-up is obviously phenomenal. Phenomenal. But why doesn't his brilliance go into movies?
He just made a movie that may be great. That's all I'm going to say. I helped him. I worked on it for a week. I read the script. Right. It's the thing it's the thing that you were saying about Damon taking what you can do in club. A lot of times, it's hard to translate your stand-up voice into TV or a movie, especially a movie. What would George Carlin's act be as a movie? It'd be a fucking apocalyptic, long thriller.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would be a fucking crazy fire-breathing, like sadistic, fucking crazy.
But do you believe?
Chris had just had a hard time. Chris said the worst thing that ever happened to him was that his movies did okay. He'd make movies that weren't good, and then they would make money, and so he never broke the habit of doing. I have to make a fucking good movie.
But let me ask you, when you look at Eddie Murphy, who dominated on television with Saturday Night Live, dominated in stand-up with things like Delirious, dominated at the box office because of his acting ability and being a movie star, don't you think you have to attribute some of that to the fact that some guys have that and some guys just don't? Like when you talk about George Carlin, brilliant stand-up. Is he a movie star?
No. Yeah, that's the other thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is like maybe I'm too weird looking. As like a human being. You know what I mean? Like I'm a funny fucking comic. I can write and direct all that shit, and then I'm like at a certain point I may just like throw in the towel and be like, I'm too fucking weird looking.
This is all just
I'm like it's about finding what you're good at, and like Dave was lucky in that he found the fucking perfect vehicle for his voice. Eddie was lucky in that he found a bunch of perfect vehicles for his voice.
Yeah, but all of this is like, I understand why you think it's a bullshit answer to say, well, aren't you more than your career? But like, you have to find a way to make life work for you in its own way. If I'm waiting on validation from the outside world to make my life okay, then I could be waiting forever and never be okay.
Right. No, I hear you. I'm just saying, I think that there's something tragic in not getting your just due as a talent, and then it feels like if you just go, well, I'm happy within my own, knowing your talent is bigger than that, but it feels like something's off.
I know what you're saying.
Like Patrice O'Neal.
Yep.
To this day, I'll say to people, man, Patrice O'Neal, and they'll go, who? Yep. And I'm going, something's not fair.
Yeah.
How is it that a talent that fucking hard never, it's something's not right. And I know Patrice may have shot himself in the foot.
Yeah, I can tell you why.
But not just did he shoot himself in the foot, also like he was so brilliant, but his act was so hardcore and like truly misogynistic, and he made those choices. I'm glad he made them because it made comedy all the better for it. But if Patrice had been talking about things in that level of genius that were softer, maybe it would have been a more widespread mainstream kind of fame.
Yeah, and then there's also the idea of like he's just not fucking pleasant to be around. It's like you don't want to spend 12 hours with Patrice 5 days a week. That goes back to that thing of just like when you're doing one of these shows, you're in a fucking submarine with people. So it's like, who am I in the submarine with? Me and Patrice had a long fucking argument about it where I called him. I was doing a pilot and I wanted to be in it. And I was like, hey, Patrice, are you going to be an asshole? I just called him. I go, are you going to be an asshole? And he's like, Neal, how the fuck are you going to call me? We argue for 2 hours. Literally, we're arguing within 40 seconds. We argue for 2 hours. At the end of 2 hours, he goes, you know what, man? I can't promise you I'm not going to be an asshole.
Hilarious.
Did he not get the job?
He didn't really want to do it anyway.
All right, I have a question, Eric.
Yeah.
But he did call and apologize 2 months later because he did a pilot. Yes, because he did a pilot, and he goes, dude, there was someone on set that was giving me attitude, and I wanted to fucking choke that motherfucker. And he's funny, and he's cool, but I wanted to choke the motherfucker. So he's like, I understand why not to be an asshole now. And he was like dead literally within like 10 weeks or something.
Wow. Aries, I am a magical being, and I will offer you all that you want and more. All the comedians in the world identify you as the great. You get all the fame, everything you want, but you die in 5 years. Or you stay exactly as you are, and you live your full.
You live
a
full
life.
98.
98.
I know. I
98.
think I know what you're gonna pick. Go ahead.
Wow, that is a fucking question.
And I know you're trying to negotiate for 10 years right now, but
that's not going to happen.
I'm almost scared to answer that because
that
almost feels like one of them six
the
things
devil,
that can happen.
The devil appears in the fireplace.
Hey, Aries, at this weight, it's never going to happen. Go ahead, homie.
No, he loses the weight. He gets everything.
Oh, he does lose the weight?
He gets everything.
All right.
You get it all.
Wow.
Well,
Most importantly,
but be dead in 5 years.
Eddie Murphy comes to your house and says you're the greatest stand-up comedian in the world. I mean, you get everything.
Eddie gives you his house.
5 years is tough, bro.
5 years is pretty short.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you 10.
What am I, 38 now? It's like Bill Maher had one of the best lines ever when he said, I don't want to live to be this age. Just give me, what did he say? Like, just give me 10 Sammy years or 60 Sammy years or whatever. You know, oh, man, that's a tough one, brother. I'm scared to answer that, man.
Sorry, so the answer is he'd take the fame.
Absolutely, it's obvious.
All right, but this begs the question: why I feel like you're stuck in this emotional place of like, oh, these motherfuckers,
right?
And you're stuck in it, and you're eating more, and you're drinking more, and you're getting bigger, and you're getting actually further from your actual what you deserve.
They say resentment is taking poison, expecting the other guy to die.
Yes, agreed.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like you have this like you're not. Here's the other thing about show is no one cares that you're mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
all they want to know is, are you good? Are you right for the part?
Yeah. Are you the right? Is the camera? Is you going to look good when you come in? Can you dance behind Cuba Gooding Jr.? Whatever. Can you be Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Right.
Can you be Tom? Like that? No one cares that what your dream was and all that shit.
You know what? Again, I have to figure out a way to let go of my own internal bullshit.
Right.
Because
what is it?
Because for me, and this may make me corny or stupid or naive, I keep believing that somehow the good guy is supposed to win.
Right.
Like somehow this is all supposed to pan out and make sense. And as long as it's about the work and you do great work and you stay true to who you are and you don't sell out, that somehow I'm going to win.
Right.
And maybe, again, that's me being dumb, naive,
I don't think it's naive.
Corny.
It's just not.
It's just not the way. It's
true.
like, you ever see Chinatown? It's fucking China. It's like
Chinatown, Jake.
Yeah, it's Chinatown.
It's Chinatown,
like,
Aries.
it ain't how it goes down, man. It's like you know who makes it? The most ambitious people. But the most ambitious, hardest working people.
And also,
do you know what I mean? Like that's my experience. Is like, you know, for all of Dave's mystery now, he fucking was hustling for like and wanted to make it. And then once he made it, and it was like, you're the best, and he's like, okay, good. That's all I needed to know. And Chris Rock works his fucking. That was the thing. Spending a week with Chris on this movie. It's like he fucking works it out. Scott Rudin produced Chris's movie. The biggest producer in movies. Produced Social Network, fucking South Park, fucking Book of Mormon. He's on set every day worrying about people's collars. and then like literally working like continuity, eye lines. He's got $50 million if he's an idiot.
Right.
If he's got bad, and he's still, and then he said, and Rock goes, he goes and watches dailies afterward. I was like, he does? He's like, yeah. And I go, I don't want it that bad. And Rock goes, yep, you don't want it that bad. Rock's like, I don't want it that bad.
Well, when you did how many seasons on Mad TV?
8 years.
So if I had come to you year 4, by the way, I'm the philosophical question.
Right.
If I had come to you year 4, right in the middle of your being on a fucking network show, would you have answered, yes, I'm happy now? Or were you...
No, because for the first 4 or 5 years, like Norm used to tell me, don't underestimate the power of television. In my first 4 or 5 years, I kind of felt like nobody was watching. I'm doing killer shit,
yeah,
and I'm not hearing nothing. So, it wasn't until about year 5 or 6 where people would come up to me on the street and go, "Man, I saw you do this," and
yeah,
"Man, you're," and that's when I kind of was like, okay, yeah. But I just kind of felt like, no, I wasn't getting what I wanted, and then getting that gratification that I was looking for.
Because from where I'm sitting, and I don't know you,
right.
so I'm not trying to psychoanalyze
right.
you, but I don't think that what you want is attainable. Because I think if you got what you wanted, it wouldn't be the thing that you wanted. I don't actually think that dream exists.
I think it's not attainable only because I'm standing in my own way.
Right. What is that?
What in terms of what's attainable?
No. Why are you standing in your own way? Is it that thinking that it's got to be more than just thinking that the good guy's going to win?
Like I said,
also,
man,
when has the good guy ever won? That's the thing. It's like that's why people pay for movies. To watch movies, because you go, oh, the good guy wins.
Right.
I'll pay for that. I'll pay to watch that.
Right.
That's so fucking improbable.
Right.
Yeah, because
that I'll give you $15 just to be around that.
I was watching a documentary on Superman that I got from Hulu or Amazon.com on my PS3.
And a lot of product
placement.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And there were just so many moments where, even whether it's the documentary that I'm watching or I'm just watching movies, where I actually get a little choked up when the good guy wins, because I still believe that happens in life.
Right.
And again, maybe I'm naive and
right.
dumb,
Okay. All right. This brings up the next question.
I believe that.
Are you sure you're the good guy? That's the next question. Is like, are you the? Because whenever I think I'm the, and then I go, well, Neal, you're one of the few people who thinks you're the good guy. Like the good guy was like, yeah, but
wait, who's the good guy? Neal Brennan?
May not always be the good guy.
I guess when I say the good guy, I don't necessarily mean the good guy. I just mean
you mean the best
you mean
man.
The guy, you mean you. You mean
no,
the guy
no,
who's.
no,
I mean,
Aries Spears.
I think what I mean is what's supposed to technically be right and go the right way should go the right way and happens. You know what I mean? That's why I'm rethinking everything, because I'm sometimes I say to myself, how could a guy like Patrice die?
Yeah.
Someone that talented.
Yeah. Because
how could he die?
You know who didn't care about his talent? His fucking arteries.
Right.
Didn't give a fuck because he filled them with garbage.
No, I was thinking about this very thing today. So, by the way, what I'm thinking right now is like none of this actually matters. I mean, this is we're only talking about like Hollywood dreams, and then there's just like the rest of the world of life. But it's like you go all the way. There's such a long ladder of human misery here. Like you go from I'm frustrated in my career to I'm frustrated in my career and I'm and I'm super poor. I'm frustrated in my career. I'm super poor and my kid died and I'm disabled and I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah. And then you get all the way down to the bottom of that, and then you can move that person to Somalia. And it's like you think, oh, it couldn't get worse, but you live in L.A. and all of a sudden it's like, no, now you're in Mogadishu, motherfucker. It just got worse.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you've made a bunch of money. You're famous. You know what I mean? Like
99% of comedians would look at your career with extreme jealousy and envy, and yet still we're not satisfied. And I get it, because I always look at it like I look at comedy like a ladder. Have I done the ladder analogy before? Like you're on a rung and you're looking at the rung above you, going, "That's the fucking rung." Right. Once I get to that rung, I'm gonna have gotten it. And then you work and you work and you work and you work, and finally you get strong enough to reach up to that next rung. You pull yourself up, and the minute you pull yourself up to the next rung, you look up and you're like, "Oh, there's another fucking rung," and it just doesn't end till you
and
fall
Will
off.
Smith's up there.
Yeah, and Cuba Gooding Jr.
And by the
Cuba
way,
Gooding Jr.'s up there.
Will's teetering now. He's on the rung, and he's had a couple bombs in a row.
Exactly.
And it's like, wait a minute.
I think about that.
Will Smith, you're 40-4.
Yeah.
You motherfucker. We don't
think
fuck
about
with
that all the
44-year-olds.
time.
We fuck with Denzel.
Yeah,
That's about the
right.
only black dude over 40 that people fuck with. And Sam Jackson.
That's exactly right. In that ladder analogy, I've always thought everyone's on the ladder, and then you think, oh no, Brad Pitt's not, but he probably is. He's probably up there going like, and that's why you see like people that you would think, well, why are you on the road doing stand-up? You're a fucking huge, like, who cares?
Right.
Well, it's because they're still trying to become legitimized by something.
Right.
And then Jesus, and that's why this is time to bring up Jesus. He's the only one.
Yes.
That can make. No, I don't know. What is the secret?
Yeah, like, well, that's the but beyond the good guy thing. So if you realize maybe you're not the good guy, you're not like a pious guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you just feel like you deserve because your shit is hot enough.
But that's what you meant.
No. I just feel like, look, I'm 38. I've been doing this since I was 14. Been doing this 23 years, and I forget how you coined it earlier, but there just was a point where I just felt like, or I still feel like, I do so many things that people will look at and go, man, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But the people that need to know it, that could help me advance, they either don't know it or they don't give a shit.
Well, that's the other
it's-
thing is like you have to be on the hot. You have to be on a hot sketch. Like Mad TV was never a hot sketch show. It was
Not
just
to
never
the industry.
No, of course, but they're the ones that are going
Right.
to cast you and
Right.
I'm sure Cameron Crowe was like, he's on what?
Right.
Mad
Right.
TV? What is that?
Right.
You look at Dane. He had the fucking world on a platter.
Right.
Everyone I knew had his CD, and he's like teetering on not being relevant as a comedian anymore. So you can get everything.
Right.
And then,
But Dane has the same thing, which is he didn't get the cool people.
right.
You know what I mean? Like he never got cool people.
Like in other words, Louis C.K. couldn't
Well, you know,
lose it.
it's
Louis
like, well,
can never lose it.
He won't be the
literally-
biggest guy in the world
No,
someday.
he'll
but
never be the
all-
biggest guy in the world, but he will always have his core cool fans.
and he'll always have.
There will be a guy that will be cooler than him.
Right.
Like there will be whoever the next Louis is, but Louis is like the critic's choice, the blogger's choice, the
Right.
nerd. He's
You just said it a second ago when you said, well, Dane Cook is teetering, but I'm from where I'm standing, I'm going, but this guy has had opportunities to star in movies.
right.
I wish I could get that.
Right.
You know what I mean? He at least got that.
But he's
never-
probably looking at somebody else going, this guy did the movie and it was successful. I wish I could
Right,
get
yeah,
that.
Right.
Yeah.
right,
How
right.
do you? Yeah. How do
Right.
if I get in a how also that's the other thing is like how do you even get in movies? Because the thing of like I did stand up and then they put me in movies. That shit's kind of over. That's the other thing. Someone was talking about almost like you have to like refresh your point of view on showbiz because again like I've known who you are for 20 years. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I got my first writing job 17 years ago.
Right.
Like, and showbiz is definitely different. And it is that sort of like way just sort of like cooler. It's not about like it's doing the right thing and it's not just a like the way Eddie made it where you go like, no, that's how I'm going to make it.
Right,
I'm going to
right.
get on a sketch show and then it's like that's
But that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Like at 14, watching him on SNL, I went, I do impressions. I could do this. I could do that. He started at 14. We both are Aries, both April 3rd. I just knew.
You were both born on the same day?
I just knew. Yeah, I just knew
That's
that I was
hilarious.
going to do sketch for 3 years,
Right.
build an audience,
Yeah.
take that into movies. They
Yeah.
follow me. The same plan.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, by the way, speaking of Snoop's of Eddie Murphy's talent, I saw this video last night of his song with Snoop.
Yeah.
And I was like rolling my eyes as I clicked it, like this is going to be such garbage. Clicked on it, and like 30 seconds later, I was like, "This is pretty good." This
Yeah,
guy,
it's not a bad
he's
song.
just good at things.
yeah, it's not a bad song.
It's not a bad song. It's a
Right,
good. It's
right.
pretty damn good. It is a bad hoodie that he's wearing in the video.
That is a tragic hoodie.
Yeah, it's a tragic.
There's
hoodie.
it's not even a hoodie, it's a do-rag, isn't it?
It's
You've
a
seen
full
the video?
body.
I haven't
It's a
seen
full
it.
body
I haven't
do-rag.
seen it.
Yeah, no, it's a do suit.
A do suit.
So that's that's how I think sometimes. But
Right.
then you look at Chris, and it's like his stand-up career is great, and then his TV show was great because
Right.
of an extension of his stand-up. But then his movies have been uneven. Dave did 10 pilots that didn't get picked up, then did one thing that was good and retired. Right. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's career is way... Tucker, even Chris Tucker, almost got into a... It's like he did the stand-up thing and was in a movie and fucking destroyed in a movie, unlike anyone kind of has ever destroyed in a movie. The way he destroyed in Friday was, like, unparalleled.
Have you seen The Fifth Element?
Yeah.
He's so far beyond... He's so unbelievable in that film.
Like, not plausible or good?
No, just amazing.
He's on some other level shit.
Yeah,
he doesn't like that
movie.
movie.
But again, like, I used to jokingly say, if you put Cat Williams, Chris Tucker, and Dave Chappelle on tour, like, it would be called the What the Fuck Is Wrong With Us tour.
Yeah.
Like Dave, 50 million, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Now he's gone.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker, 20 million a movie, won't make anything but Rush Hour every 8 years. Cat Williams, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like, these guys have the world by the balls. Why are they not? They seem like they don't want it. Or just something's wrong with them.
Or getting it makes you not be able to keep it.
Well, let me find that out.
Yeah.
I want to know what that's like.
Absolutely.
Let me make that choice.
The American dream is money won't make you happy, but let's just make sure.
But yeah.
Like, that's the... No, but there's something...
And that's part of it. Like when I take that and several other things and bottle them all up, that's where my bitterness and my anger comes from. Because I can't figure out, why does this work this way?
Is there... Yeah, go.
I'm just curious, Aries, do you have things that bring you joy other than your career?
Moshe is like a fucking counselor over here.
I'm just curious because I know.
No,
for me,
I know what you're saying.
All the things that shouldn't bring me joy.
Vice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Vices.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like weed, alcohol, and pussy.
Well, 100%. That is why people like Vice, is because the world is painful.
Right.
And things like Vice allow you to forget that the world's painful. And drugs is the best example.
And it's also controlled. You get to control it.
Yeah,
you control
pussy I think is too complicated, but drugs is so simple. You go to the drugs, you take the drugs, and then the drugs immediately make you feel differently. You can just video games I think is also the best,
right?
Because your brain turns off,
right?
Yeah.
But I know for me, I struggle to make sure, like, because comedy is so fucking horrifying to your ego, it's so abusive. Like Neal always says, what we're doing is impossible.
Right.
I struggle to make sure that there are some things that bring me joy outside of career, because I don't do drugs anymore.
This again goes against the corny thing. What brings me joy is when I'm on stage and I'm annihilating, but not necessarily with proven material. Moments that occur that I didn't plan on,
right?
And I know I'm in that fucking pocket where I know, you know, like, keep fucking with me, chick in the third row. You are setting me up to destroy you,
right?
And I can weave in and out of the set, and that's that moment.
I would venture a guess, and this is me, I'm full on cheese mode, but I would venture a guess that in that moment, because live performance is so powerful, in that moment when you're destroying on stage, you are not thinking about the films that you didn't get cast in or your career. You're just
no,
thinking
I'm not.
about
But
that
what
moment.
I will think about immediately
Is
when
pussy.
I get off stage, what I will think about immediately is, again, this crazy way that things happen where I go, dude, if so-and-so, the head of whatever network or studio, saw this set,
right?
There's no way.
Yeah.
Why does that not work out like that?
Well,
why?
Okay, here's the question that I ask myself sometimes. Is it possible that Dave, Kat, whoever else you want to put it, Chris Tucker, are more talented than you? Eddie, Chris Rock. Because there are times where I'm working with people and I'm like, he's fucking good. Like, this fucking guy is good.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? I think that I do, and I know that's part of my insecurity, but at the same time, there are moments when I will do things on stage and on camera where I go, get the fuck out of here. I'm just as dope as the motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Based on what I just did, the reaction that I just got, fuck that.
Right. Well, then maybe it's maybe there's like the sociability aspect, because that's the other thing working with Chris. He's fucking really social, which I didn't realize. Like, all day long on it's his movie and it's his set, but what impressed me the most was he's talking to everybody in a really engaged, like,
you know,
like he needs to talk to people, whereas I'm like so I don't need to talk.
But
to
that's
people.
me too. And I remember I was listening to a great.
But Dave's so fucking social and
Chappelle.
Yeah, man, that's the thing.
He's
Chappelle
socially awkward though too.
He's incredibly socially awkward, but in an environment, he will talk to you. He will literally talk till the sun comes up, just because he needs to talk.
Mm-hmm.
This is pre-weed.
Pre-post.
Yeah, I remember Patrice's interview on Opie and Anthony when they were kind of asking him the same question in terms of why he feels he's not.
Right.
And he said something to the degree of when he's on a set, like the fact that he wants to be the guy who doesn't talk to anyone and he's just minding his business, people have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Why is he not talking to anyone?
Yeah.
Why is he sitting by himself?
Yeah.
And that, because you're doing that, you're an asshole.
No, I agree. Yeah, I know.
I just,
people are social animals. That's the bottom line. Is we are. All right, we're running out of time.
No.
Like if I don't smile, I scare white people.
Dude,
I'm big. I'm black. If I got
I'm the same way, though.
beard going, white people. I've heard white people say he's angry.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm not smiling. I don't walk around fucking cheesing.
Yeah.
Aries, you are angry.
No.
You were.
Listen, like
he's bitter.
I used to, and I'm being honest, I used to think what all people, I guess, assume of me. When I would see Neal in the club and he don't smile and talk, I go, this motherfucker's so cocky. He's a dick.
Yes.
And then when I got to know him, he's not.
That's funny because I got to know Neal and have the
still a dick.
exact same feeling.
No, but you're exact. But I was watching. I was directing something, and I've been watching dailies, and I'll see myself walk into frame to talk to the actors, and I'm like, "You look fucking mean, man." Where I've just got this fucking stern look, and I don't know it.
Yeah,
like my
funny.
face is literally.
I forget where
that.
I was. I forget where I was. I think it was either New York or D.C. And you know how sometimes you get into town and comics get into conversations with the staff about who just was here and blah blah blah. And I forget. I think you just left somewhere, and people came up about how what people thought of you. And the only thing I heard was, "Fucking guy's cocky. He's so cocky."
Yeah, and I basically because I was just in my dressing room, quietly looking at my thing.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about that. We had Rock on the podcast, and we talked for an hour, and then I saw him at the MTV movie. I've told this story on the podcast before, but at the movie awards, and I just like very foolish, like demonstratively went over to him, and was like, "Hey," and he just fucking blank face, no idea who I was, and I was like. It was hilarious. I loved it as a comedian, but as a human being, I hated it. But then I started thinking about like all of the people that have come up to me over the years who are probably as distant from me as I am to Rock, right? Like, I opened for you in Peoria. You don't remember me? And I'm just fucking, dude, I don't know you.
Well, you know what? I'm almost convinced to some degree. It's almost, you have to be in that person's circle of whether or not they like you. Because I'm going to tell you something. I've met Chris Rock 1,000 times. He always brushes me off like I'm nobody. Yeah. And it's that thing of, I would love for this dude to acknowledge me with respect. Right. And I guess maybe if you're in, because I've seen him at Jerry's with Seinfeld, like they're fucking best buds. Right. But it's Seinfeld, and I just, with Patrice, with Chris, and I often take that as, these dudes
were you cool with Patrice?
Me. I didn't know Patrice like that, but he almost came off with a very fuck you very much attitude. Yeah. Like he'll be cordial, hey man, how you doing? But other than that, he kind of,
Well, I always think like in comedy, like it's funny when you meet someone new who's on the scene, you just don't acknowledge them or even notice that they exist, and then one day you see them destroy on stage, and you're like, "Hey, how are you?" Like all of a sudden, like, "Oh, okay, welcome in."
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I had a surreal moment where, and this is one Chappelle, of course, was Chappelle, and he came into the Laugh Factory one night. He was going to go up, but he decided to chill upstairs and hang out. And I just wanted so badly to destroy. Yeah. Because I wanted, So I fucking ripped. And I went up and hey, Dave. And Dave just so casually with his cigarette was like, it's a nice set, man. I remember when I used to kill like that. It's one of those things that made me go,
No, it's also like that was what you wanted, and it just becomes about his own fucking weird vanity. That's the thing is, all of our dreams are someone else's just like small stories. Like I'm in DC being cocky. I have no idea what it was. I probably was just like there quietly in my hotel. That it's like, come into my inner monologue because it's not cocky.
Right.
Trust me.
It's the opposite.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Right.
You wouldn't last 2 minutes up here in this head.
We're out of time, but before we go,
I feel like we
Is
should
it
have you
possible for us to
do some impressions.
yeah, see you
Of
do be so
course.
just a few seconds.
Can we
You know,
get like a
hey,
menu, or is there anything you can read?
No, here's what I would love to do. Just kind of like set me. I know it may be a little hokey, but
Yeah.
set me up like, Paul Mooney's in the room or whoever's
Yeah.
in the room, and you just want to talk to him. You know what I mean? Ask a question.
Yeah. Jay-Z's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the greatest rapper alive, Jay-Z.
It's nice. It's nice to be here right now.
Jay, what do you have to say to the fact that people think that your records have become redundant?
Well, I mean, redundancy is all about history. People repeat history, so it's like saying something historic is redundant. Greatness gets repeated. So whether it's from me or somebody else, it's greatness, so admire it.
That doesn't make any sense, though, Jay-Z. You do realize that.
Well, I mean, some of the greatest things in life never made sense. But again, it becomes historic.
No, I get it now.
Hold on. DMX is here.
Yeah.
DMX, we just saw
yeah,
a clip
yeah,
of you
yeah.
running through a hotel room naked. What was that
Yeah, I
about?
mean, dog, you know what I mean? People, it's the internet, you know what I mean? Social media, you know what I mean? It could have been somebody else running, but they put my head on the body, you know what I mean? It ain't always what you see, what you believe, you know what I mean?
Why do you like dogs so much?
A dog is like, when they say it's man's best friend, a dog will kill for you, a dog will live for you, you know what I mean? So I live through the dog because the dog is me, you know what I mean? It's real.
That's fair enough. Hey, I have been having a hard time getting laid, and I invited my friend LL Cool J here to give me some pointers.
It's bananas, man. It's bananas, beat. Go ahead, man.
I mean,
Did a guy break into your house, El?
It was crazy, man. I got a lot of people that try to get to me. I guess this was an overzealous dude. He kind of had like the female feelings and whatnot. He tried to break in my joint, but I gave it to him.
What are you ever going to apologize for accidental racist?
You know what? It's just, music is like a dichotomy of what you feel inside. So when you feel something, you just project it. Should Picasso apologize for painting the ceiling on a church? You know what I mean? It's art, man.
What do you think Biggie would have to say about the fact that you're on LL is on NCIS Los Angeles?
It's a different time right now. Used to be a time when, rappers hated the police, but now Ice-T is a cop. So I think he would have respected it. He'd have been like,
I think it's cool that this, he's making the transition to try to grow as an artist, man.
Fuck. Who else do you do?
Snoop? Is Snoop here?
Snoop's better when I'm rapping, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wait, is Mooney's here?
Yeah, fair enough. Finally, comedy legend, the greatest comic mind to not get a job on Mad TV.
Everybody knows that, brother. You don't have to. It's not something you have to say. People know it. You don't say things people already know.
No, I'm serious.
People know my resume, homie. They know it. It's real. There's no need to talk about it.
I'm going to tell you something, a Mooney story.
Yeah.
I was at. And
That was phenomenal.
That was unbelievable.
Thank you.
That we were, and I want to like write it down so you can say it. We were. I'm going to whisper it to. In fact, I'll just edit it so that you say it.
Right.
All right. So one time, me, Chappelle, and Mooney and Charlie were at Eddie's house, and it was when like the SARS thing was happening.
Right.
And Mooney goes,
If white folks want to kill niggas, they should put SARS in the chicken.
and then I said, Paul, white people like chicken too, and he said, oh, look at Neal trying to clean it up.
Dude, I know we're done, but I saw a clip on YouTube of Paul. He was doing the Houston Improv. And now you want to talk about, and this is not me calling him a dick. I'm just saying what appears visually. Like the guys were interviewing him, and he had a newspaper. While they were interviewing him, he never looked up from the newspaper, never made eye contact, and just basically, yeah, homie, it's real.
No,
like he talked to them like that, and I'm just going,
I directed Negro Damas.
Okay.
I directed, like me and Dave put the guy on.
Right.
Literally looks at me like he's never met, like, oh, he always goes like, oh, it's you. I have no idea what he means by it, but I don't even hold it. It's like it's so fucking funny to me. I don't care.
Right.
It's like yeah, just fucking shit on me.
Well, anyway,
all right. So
I hope you find everything you're looking for. I
think. Listen, man. I think Neal said it best. I know. I'm not stupid. I know what it is. I just got to get to it.
Yeah, you got to get the vegan diet, homie. Got to get that vegan diet, homie.
The lap band.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I'm that far.
Yeah,
off.
you don't qualify.
No.
I'm sorry, sir.
That was awesome,
right,
man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
You're good.
Now you're fucking with the champs.